several times on your blog on developscience.com, you've shared your thoughts about difference between testing and quality assurance.
My opinion is pretty strongly held that it's really important for testers to say what they mean. We're among the only people in the project whose job it is to try to get to the truth of what's going on rather than what we hope to be true or what we would like to be true. Largely inspired by Kem Kainer in the 1990s, the middle 1990s when I met him, I have for a long time believed that it's kind of crazy for us to call ourselves quality assurance because we can't assure quality. Testers don't control the schedule, they don't control the budget, they don't control the content of the product, they don't control the scope of what the product is intended to do. We have no authority over hiring and firing of developers. We don't control relationships with the customers. We can't modify the contracts. So it seems to me that that makes it impossible for us to assure quality. But what we can do is maybe if we want to keep the QA part, I have an idea that maybe we could call it quality awareness. Or as Kem Kainer once suggested, quality assistance. Or maybe QA stands for questions answered. But it seems to me that calling it quality assurance is not only inaccurate, it's also likely, at least with some people, to get us into a certain kind of trouble because it's not really truth in advertising, is it? Some people will come to us after a problem has been found in the field and they say, well, what's going on? We thought you were assuring quality. Now, we don't do that, but we do investigate quality, and that on its own is a valuable service. It's our job to find out what the product is and what it does and how it works and how it doesn't work and how it might not work so that our clients can make informed decisions about what to do with the product. And in particular, I think it's really important for us as testers to focus on looking for and finding and reporting on problems that threaten the value of the product and that may threaten the on-time successful completion of the project. That's, I think, a really important service. It's a very important role for somebody to have on a project to actually find out if the product we've got is the product we want.
And one more related question. Could you please advise to all our audience how to teach both internal and external customers that test guys are not responsible for the quality of the product we work on?
I think that starts with negotiating and declaring our commitments to deciding and getting straight in our heads on what we are here to do. It's my job, I feel, as a tester, to provide a service to the project. The service that I provide is to investigate the software, to experiment with it, to explore it, to learn about it on behalf of other people. It's our job to provide timely, concise, clear reports on the status of the product and on the status of the testing. It's our job to advise clients of anything that gets in the way of that set of commitments. It is within our scope, I would say, to offer suggestions about design or about coding, but to remember that we're not designers or coders, most of us, to the degree that people who are hired to do that work are. So we don't manage the project. We're not gatekeepers of quality. I don't believe, for instance, that a tester should sign off on the quality of the product. That's a decision, it seems to me, that properly lives with management. What a tester can sign off on, quite reasonably, is this is what I've done and this is what I've seen. But not for the tester to make a decision about whether the product is ready for release or ready to ship or ready to deploy or even whether the product is good or bad. except within the tester's capacity to understand it, how the product might or might not do what the clients and the customers believe it will do. It's our job to be professionally uncertain when everybody else around us is sure that the product has no problems in it. It's our job to suspend certainty, to not be certain, to make sure that we're professionally doubting that this is the product we want. Because if we don't do that, it seems to me we run the risk of becoming cheerleaders, marketers, quality reassurance. It's my job to deliver the truth about the product to people, and sometimes that truth, my truth, of course, what I've been able to observe, sometimes that truth is unpleasant and painful because it means that somebody has to do more work or somebody has to make a painful decision. So that seems to me a good motivation to remember some advice that came from Jerry Weinberg, which is that the tester's default stance, the tester's default emotional stance should be empathy, compassion, because we're here to help people who are doing a hard job. It's not easy to be a programmer. It's not easy to be a project manager. It's not easy to be a development manager or a test manager. It's our job to provide services to those people. So in that, it seems to me that we say, my job is not to declare that we've got a good project or a good product. My job is to help you look good by finding out things about the product that maybe aren't so good right now, and to help you decide whether this is a product that we want to fix or a product that we're willing to live with and accept the business risk. To help you do that, but not to do it. We don't prevent problems as testers. We help the people who can prevent problems. We discover existing problems so those problems don't get worse. That's very empowering when you think about it. It gives those people, it makes sure that I'm trying to make sure that they have the responsibility for the quality of the product, because that's what they do. That they've got jobs where they can control the quality of the product, and we don't have that job, but we're here to help. We're here to help them see what the product is for what it is.
As we started talking about quality, I would like to ask you another tricky question. Working in outsourcing, we face with different products, projects, and customers who have their own vision over the quality and own requirements to quality. One can say that I need perfect quality, and another says I don't need good quality or I need demo quality. What could you advise except asking questions in this case?
It might be a good idea to ask them what they mean by that, but I would be very cautious about working with them. If they're somebody who believes there can be such a thing as perfect quality, it's important to help straighten them out on that issue, because quality is not a thing, it's not a property of a product. It's a relationship between the product and some person or persons, which is what Jerry Weinberg said. And to that, James and I added a little thing to remind testers, because testers sometimes get the idea that quality is what they say it is, but it's not. Quality is value to some person who matters. And it's sort of an unpleasant truth for some testers when they realize that testers don't matter. Now, before everybody gets all upset, let me make clear what I mean by that. When I say that testers don't matter, what I mean is the product doesn't have to work the way the tester says it has to work. Product has to work the way people want it to work, people who matter. So I'm not responsible for quality. I don't manage the project. I don't control the budget. But what I do as a tester is I help people understand the status of the product. So when somebody says, well, I don't need perfect quality, well, it's okay, because I can't provide that for you one way or another anyway. It's my job to shine light on the product and to help that person understand where the product is. So in an outsourcing environment, here's what I would do. Once again, I would commit to saying, I'm going to discover as much as I can about the product, especially problems that are important and problems that matter. I'm going to do everything within my power to allow you to do your work as quickly and as efficiently as you can. And my job is here to help you do that, to help you to become alert of the status of the product right away. To be perfectly honest, I don't understand why somebody who is hiring an outsource company wouldn't get that right from the beginning. Surely they know that the people at the outsource testing company can't change the code. They can't redesign the product. And they can't promise to find every bug. I don't do that. I don't promise to find every bug. I don't know how to find every bug in a product. I have some pretty good ideas on how I'm going to search for bugs. But I don't know where the bugs are, because the bugs, as anybody will tell you who's even thought about it, the bugs are hidden. And what's more, the testers didn't put them in, so we don't know where they're hidden. And not even the people who hid them know where they are. So I don't commit to finding every bug. I commit to doing my best to find every bug that matters. I do my best to try to develop an understanding of the product so that I would be very likely to find a bug if the bug were there. But I can't promise that I'm going to do that. Nobody can. I don't know how to do that. I met Jerry Weinberg when he was pretty old. He was 72 years old, I think. At the time, James and I were prepared to make the rather audacious claim that he was, in our opinion, the world's greatest living software tester. He lived another 13 years, and if he ever found a way to find all the bugs in the product, he never told us about it. And he would be the person that I would go to find out about how a product was actually behaving. So he didn't know how to do that. James doesn't know how to do that. Kem Kainer doesn't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. But what I can do is I can investigate the product. I can develop my models of it. I can interact with it, explore it, put it under various kinds of stressful conditions, analyze it in many different ways, ask for help when I'm in over my head, work with other people, collaborate with other people to develop a shared understanding of the product and a shared model of it. Nobody on the planet that I'm aware of can promise to find every bug in the product.
How do you change test approach depending on required level of quality?
We got to be careful. The level of quality that the client desires is a big factor in terms of where we're going to focus our attention and how we're going to focus our attention. But that is always subject to negotiation and to revision. When a client says, all right, I know enough about this area of the product, stop testing. Well, I'm happy to do that. I'm not going to keep going doing work that the client doesn't want me to do. The tester is not in a position to change the level of quality. But if the client comes to me and says, well, we have something that is of very high risk, we have very serious concerns, this is a product that is going to be, it's going to affect human life or health or safety or large amounts of money, my strategy will change with respect to what I would do for a gaming company or for a social chat service. The risk models are different. But that's a dimension of the level of quality, I think, in the way you're talking about it. So that's always adaptable. I'm always prepared to do that or to change that. Or if a client says, I'm very concerned about this area, I'm perfectly prepared to adapt whatever plans that I've got. Now, of course, that might involve changing my focus to look at something extremely important and diverting my focus away from something that is now known to be less important. A constant collaboration with the client, a constant focusing and refocusing on the mission is important there.